Hello guys, welcome back to NHL Rumor Roundup, the show where we discuss the big rumors from around the NHL. Today we're going to be discussing the latest on Rasmus Ristolainen, Loui Eriksson, Jake Gardiner, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Edmonton Oilers. Now the NHL rumor mill is in full swing, and when it comes to the latest rumors, they are heating up big time. But what is the latest on Rasmus Ristolainen, Loui Eriksson, the Montreal Canadiens, Jake Gardiner, and the Edmonton Oilers? Watch till the end to find out. Now in the last couple of days, we've gotten some big time new rumors and also a lot of info on existing rumors too. And when it comes to the first player that we'll mention in today's rumor roundup, we have Rasmus Ristolainen and his very intriguing situation. Now for the Buffalo Sabres, they ended up trading for Henri Jokiharju a couple of days ago, and it was always speculated that after that, Buffalo will be trading another defenseman. We always speculated that it might be Rasmus Ristolainen, but the Buffalo Sabres might actually do it. On Buffalo's defense, there are 7 guys who I think will make the NHL next season, not named Rasmus Ristolainen. And you also have Jake McCabe, who's an RFA, not signed yet to a deal, who could also factor on the defense. So the defense core is definitely shrinking, and the space is definitely shrinking, and Rasmus Ristolainen could be the guy to go out of there. Now, if I was going to trade anybody on that defense, it would be Ristolainen. He has a lot of value around the NHL circles. He's not a good defenseman. He puts up points, but besides that, he's not good, both offensively, defensively. He has some talent, but he hasn't been able to break out really in the NHL so far. But a lot of teams are interested, in fact, and a lot of teams would love to take that kind of player. Now, Matt Larkin of the Hockey News ended up giving us 3 different NHL teams that might be in Rasmus Ristolainen and might actually end up trading for him. Now, those 3 teams do include the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Winnipeg Jets. And these names aren't really too surprising, especially Tampa Bay, who we've seen linked to him for basically the past year now. Winnipeg also does make quite a bit of sense, and if Edmonton can get rid of some cap, I can see them making sense too. But there should be a lot of interest around a guy like that, and unless NHL GMs finally caught up to him not actually being good, he will likely find a trade partner, and pretty soon. Now, out of those 3 teams, Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, and Edmonton, I'd probably say Edmonton is the least likely to get a guy like Rasmus Ristolainen. They don't have a lot of cap space, and I don't think they really need a defenseman either. I don't think they'd be going for that. I think also Tampa Bay might not be in the mix anymore. They had a lot of rumors in the past year of them going after him. I'm not sure if that's really true though anymore, and the cap space for them is just non-existent, so I don't know how they fit that $5 million deal onto their cap hit already. But the team that makes the most sense out of those 3 to me is the Winnipeg Jets. After they sign Laine, after they sign Connor, they should have a couple of $1 million left. Maybe they retain some salary, Buffalo does on the Ristolainen deal, but I could definitely see that working out, and Winnipeg has a ton of assets, a ton of spare assets that Buffalo could really use. Now for the next player in the rumor roundup, we have Loui Eriksson and his honestly confusing situation with the Vancouver Canucks. Now Loui Eriksson, since he signed the deal with Vancouver, was not really a fit in Vancouver. He never really got off to where he was in Dallas and where he was before that in Boston. He never really got back to that level that he was at before. And with Vancouver, obviously they signed him to a mega deal, never worth that contract, even in the first day. They obviously regretted it, and so far they have. When it comes to Loui Eriksson, he is not worth $6 million, but still is a useful player on the right team. Now, after the Vancouver Canucks end up going out in free agency and signing Michael Furlan to a 4-year, $3.5 million deal, it was always thought that Vancouver would ship out a forward because they don't have too much room on that forward group anymore. And it looks like right now the main candidate for that is Loui Eriksson. While some people might say that maybe Goldobin might be the guy that's traded, I don't know if I see that necessarily, at least not yet. I see Loui Eriksson being the guy they're trying to trade and will trade soon enough. Now, Loui Eriksson's agent went on TSN radio and had a few interesting things to say. Now, the main quote that I got from that was this: "This has gone past any kind of trade request." And that tells me, 1, these trade negotiations have been going on for a long, long time, and 2, that it might happen very, very soon. Now, Loui Eriksson, obviously, with that quote, has requested a trade in the past. We have seen that in the last couple of months, so that's not necessarily surprising. But when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks, to not get a deal done at this point is honestly pretty sad. Now, Eriksson has a partial no-move clause, so it obviously does factor in, and it gets a lot harder when you can't choose how many teams you could actually trade him to. But when it comes to Eriksson, if he has a retrained contract, maybe $3 million, I think that could be worth it to some teams that need maybe a middle 6 guy. He's obviously not going to be worth $6 million. He's not going to be a top 6 forward, but he can still be a decent role player right now, and has been that for the Vancouver Canucks. Now, David Alter did end up reporting that Loui Eriksson will get a $4 million signing bonus on July 15th, which after that will make them a lot more viable to trade partners. And that is a huge thing for Vancouver. For teams like Ottawa, teams like Arizona, that is a huge, huge deal. To teams like Toronto, Montreal, obviously that doesn't matter. But when it comes to Vancouver, they already have that limited no trade clause, so the options are already limited. But after having that sign-in bonus, it kind of spreads it out a little bit more. And for those poor teams that can't fully take on that Loui Eriksson contract, that'll make it a lot better. And I think it could definitely happen. After July 15th, maybe right after that, we could see a trade. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens, because Vancouver, I would say one of their priorities right now is getting rid of that Eriksson contract. Moving on to one of the most interesting free agents in the entire free agent class, the next player in the rumor roundup we have is Jake Gardiner. And he has been so fascinating to watch over the last 10 days. Again, since free agency started, I thought Jake Gardiner would be one of the most highly anticipated guys in this free agency. But since then, it's pretty much been squandered down, and he's gotten almost no interest whatsoever. When it comes to Jake Gardiner, I think he's the best free agent in this class right now that's still available, and I don't think it's really even close. I like Ryan Dzingel quite a bit and what he brings, but Jake Gardiner smashes him out of the water. But there's not been a lot of interest in him lately. Now, Scott Bielik ended up reporting that Jake Gardiner is still asking for $7 million. We don't know exactly what the term would be, probably more 5, 6, 7 years, a longer term deal. He wants that big payday, and I think he deserves that big payday. He's one of the best offensive defensemen in the entire NHL, and deserves to get paid like it. I think 6.5 would probably be the best spot for him, but right now teams are lining up to the plate. And when it comes to Jake Gardiner, he had a little bit of back injury problems this past year, which I think could definitely affect his stock, and I think should affect his stock. But when he is healthy, when he is on his game, he's one of the most fantastic defensemen in the NHL today. And while Jake Gardiner isn't getting a ton of interest, there still is a little bit of interest out there, especially if he were to take a little bit of a pay cut, less than $7 million. I think that would make him a lot more attractive. Now, Scott Bielik also reports that the New Jersey Devils are the main team in on him right now, which is no surprise whatsoever. If they were able to add Jake Gardiner to that defense alongside a PK Subban, that would be awesome to see. And again, they have the cap space to do it. They have so much cap space, so much room, and Jake Gardiner honestly would be a perfect fit. Now, for the first team in today's rumor roundup, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and they're very interesting developments as of late. Now, when it comes to Montreal, they've been one of the busiest teams in this offseason, doing stuff left and right, making events after big events. But while the trades and signings might not be stopping here, it's looking like the offer sheet side of things is basically dead in the water. Now, Eric Engels had a one-on-one interview with Marc Bergevin, and after that interview, when it comes to if Marc Bergevin would offer sheet another player, Eric Engels said this: it would require him throwing away everything he believes in on the subject, or everything he says he believes in, and I'd be shocked if he did that. So that's very cryptic messaging right there. But when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, when it comes to Marc Bergevin, the offer sheet side of things seems to be dead in the water, of course. Now, we got a big rumor about a week ago that they would be going after Patrick Laine offer sheet wise, and while they might still be after Laine trade wise, it's looking like the offer sheet route is pretty much dead for the Montreal Canadiens. They went after Sebastian Aho, and ended up offering Brayden Point. He ended up declining that offer. But when it comes to Montreal, they've pretty much done their due diligence offer sheet wise. They've done everything they could at this point. And hey, I will commend them for it, for just trying it out, because they're the leaders, and I appreciate that. Now, of course, I don't think Montreal is done either, signing-wise, trade-wise. I don't think Marc Bergevin is just going to sit back and relax and do nothing else with the offseason. But offer sheets looks for Montreal to be done. It looks like they're not going to do any more this offseason. And again, it was already a valiant effort doing as much as they did. And it's not exactly surprising that they didn't do any others. We had that big rumor about Patrick Laine possibly being linked to the Montreal Canadiens. And again, that could still happen through a trade, who knows. But right now, offer sheet-wise, Brayden Point, Patrick Laine, Kyle Connor, right now, for the Montreal Canadiens, it's not happening. Now, for the next team in today's rumor roundup, we have the Edmonton Oilers and their very tricky situation that might get resolved fairly soon. Now, this all comes from David Staples from the Edmonton Journal, and when it comes to Edmonton, they're looking to make some big moves. They've been fairly inactive in free agency and in the offseason so far, but that might change very soon. Now, David Staple ends up writing up the Edmonton Oilers might be looking to trade a defenseman for a forward helper, and probably in that bottom six is what they're looking at right now, maybe more alongside of a middle six forward. Now, David Staple ends up writing that there's two guys in the Edmonton defense that might be sacrificed for that being Chris Russell and also Matt Benning. It likely won't happen. It likely won't be both guys that end up being shipped out, but probably one in the end, and that definitely makes sense. If Edmonton can get rid of that Chris Russell contract, that would be so so good for them now and in the future. And just even for nobody, get an average play for Chris Russell, to get that contract on the books is fantastic for them. And I think for Edmonton, that's the route that they should take. And right now, it seems like a pretty good possibility. Now, David Staples ends up reporting that there are 3 forwards from around the NHL that Edmonton will be seeking out in a Chris Russell / Matt Benning trade. Now, those 3 players include Tyler Toffoli, Andrew Copp from the Winnipeg Jets, and Cody Eakin on the Vegas Golden Knights. And those names aren't necessarily surprising. We saw Cody Eakin linked to Edmonton a little bit a couple of months back, but Tyler Toffoli also could be a very good ad for them too. I don't think they're going to get a Nathan MacKinnon, obviously, from a Chris Russell trade, but Tyler Toffoli will be pretty wishful thinking. But for Edmonton, to get that scoring help, I think is a wise thing for them, and to finally move on from that Chris Russell contract will be a gift from the hockey gods. Edmonton obviously has a lot of cap troubles, having Milan Lucic and Chris Russell. I don't think that's helping them whatsoever, but having Ken Holland as that first-year GM and having him have all the control there, I think is fantastic. We've already seen a ton of changes in that management so far, from the top to the bottom, which is fantastic to see. But now the changes are starting to come on the team itself, and that's good also. But getting depth guys like Tyler Toffoli are definitely good ads, but firstly, getting rid of those bad contracts is a big step for them, and Chris Russell will be a massive load to take off. But of course, with this video, I need to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments down below. So let me know, what do you think about today's NHL Rumor Roundup and the rumors we discussed? What do you think about the latest on Rasmus Ristolainen, Loui Eriksson, Jake Gardiner, the Montreal Canadiens, and the Edmonton Oilers? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments down below. But if you guys want some more Grav videos just like this one, you can click on this card right here to watch my video on my biggest loser picks for NHL free agency. That'll be it for today, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell if you haven't already. Again, comment down below your thoughts on today's NHL Rumor Roundup and the rumors we discussed as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Goodbye.